Welcome to another session. The concepts covered in this session will continue to support your project analysis and decision-making throughout your planning and project management career. Therefore, it is important to understand these concepts carefully. Theories may seem boring initially, but as you progress in your career, you will increasingly depend on these concepts for effective project planning, analysis, and decision-making. Let's start with free float. It is the amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying the early start of its immediate successor activity. Total float. It is the amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying the project completion date. Critical path. The sequence of activities that represents the longest path through the project network and determines the shortest possible project duration. Activities on this path generally have zero or near-zero total float. To demonstrate free float and total float, we will open a Primavera P6 project in which several activities have already been created. In this example, some activities have both free float and total float values. If you review the activities, you may notice that one activity has a free float of 0 days and a total float of 3 days. What does this mean? This means that the activity can be delayed by up to 3 days without affecting the overall project completion date. However, since the free float is 0, any delay in this activity will immediately affect its successor activity. By reviewing the Gantt chart, you can understand how the successor activities and the overall network provide sufficient flexibility to absorb this delay. In another example, an activity may have the same value for both free float and total float. This indicates that the activity can be delayed by that amount of time without affecting either the immediate successor activities or the project completion date. You may also find activities where the free float and total float values are different. For example, an activity may have a free float of 3 days and a total float of 7 days. This means that the activity can be delayed by up to 3 days without affecting its immediate successor activities, and it can be delayed by up to 7 days without affecting the overall project completion date. Now, let us discuss the critical path. Go to the Schedule Options window. By default, Primavera P6 defines critical activities as activities with total float less than or equal to 0. You can also choose the longest path option to define critical activities, depending on your project requirements and scheduling practices. The topic of critical path definition is widely discussed in the scheduling profession. For now, we will consider activities with 0 total float as critical activities. Critical activities are usually displayed in red color in the Gantt chart. If you review these activities, you will notice that both their free float and total float are generally 0. Therefore, any delay in these activities will directly delay the project completion date. You can verify this by opening another project and reviewing its schedule. If all activities appear in red, it indicates that all activities are currently on the critical path. Why are critical activities shown in red instead of green or other color? This is controlled through the bars configuration, which we discussed in our earlier session. Right-click on the Gantt chart and select Bars. In the Bars configuration window, Primavera P6 allows different colors for different activity types. Typically, red represents critical activities, green represents non-critical or remaining activities, and blue represents actual work or completed activities. Understanding free float, total float, and the critical path is extremely important for project management and scheduling professionals because these concepts are essential for analyzing schedules, identifying delays, and making informed project decisions.